everyone. How's everyone doing today?
So,
I'd like to start off tonight's ENN in a big way, if I can. Well, by saying, first of all, big thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Security Dodge. Why don't you go see Michelle Scalisi?
Come get some!
Yeah!
Don't forget also, you can vote during this ENN, TMKS ESPN on the Twitter vehicle. Go over there and vote and drop madness. Let's start off by saying, speaking of which, maybe there's new drops today. Let's start off by saying good evening to Michael.
Honey, you have a problem. You have to go away.
Yeah, that was him sending his wife to jail. Good evening to Don.
I do like a good pipe.
Strong.
A clean day.
Good evening to Don.
First of all, that's not where I consume porn.
Good evening to myself and Don.
Moorhead
To
versus
Westchester.
Longwood would be unbelievable.
Craving that matchup.
And good evening to myself. Sucking ketchup out of a packet's gross. Sometimes you just say things that are true. You know what I mean? I'm just a truth teller.
You are. Always have been.
A soothsayer. A truth soother. You know what I'm saying?
No, we don't.
All right, let's hear from Julius Randle.
Julie.
He was on the Roommates pod. You know about that,
No.
right, Don? Yeah, you do.
Nope.
It's the Josh Hart,
Come on.
Jalen Brunson vehicle.
Come on, you're a for God's sake, you're a basketball man.
A man
You have
of
to know these
basketball.
things. A man of
I
basketball.
wasn't aware of that pod.
You don't know that Jalen and Josh have a pod?
No.
Bing bong. I'm waiting for my invitation. Can't wait to be a guest on it.
I guess I just
I
blew
don't know if it's ever
mine.
going to happen, but I'm putting it out there. Let's hear from Julius. This is cool. This is why Julius Randle chose the Knicks.
Because everything that I envisioned coming to New York is happening now. You know, wanted to become an all-star, but I wanted to win here. You know, I felt like, and this ain't a shot at nobody, but it was always, New York was looked at like as a place that nobody wanted to come to. So for me, it was like, I had just been around a dude who would take on any challenge.
Yep.
It didn't matter what it was. So I kind of felt like it was like that Kobe spirit, Mamba mentality in me. Like, man, let me take on this challenge
let's change that.
and see what happens. Like, it's easy to, you know, play for the money and all that different type of stuff. But for me, it was more about legacy and, like, not how other people looked at me, but, like, if I'm done playing, like, how do I want to look back at my career? Did I challenge myself? Did I push myself? And for me, like I said, everything that I wanted to envision happening is happening now. You know, we're still not there, but, you know, we're on the way.
You know, when people look at, you know, so many free agents said no, and everybody said, well, Amari Stoudemire wanted the challenge. Nobody else offered Amari that money. He came here because the Knicks gave him 4 years. Most teams, the Phoenix Suns, knew his knees weren't going to hold up. Carmelo was traded here. Julius Randle is the guy who turned down other offers and came here. I give him credit.
But it did. He is admitting, though, that not coming to New York is a thing.
Was it?
Yes, that is an important piece to take away from that, Don. I agree.
Now, the reason for that, you know, is still up in the air. Is it Dolan? Is it the lack of winning? But it's acknowledging that around the league, that's not a destination.
I think it's changed, though, because Jalen Brunson chose New York.
Right.
Could have gone anywhere.
Well, and it doesn't hurt that Jalen Brunson has become a superstar here.
Right. And I think people want to play with Jalen Brunson now.
Now,
Alan put up on his Twitter page yesterday, the X vehicle, a compilation of other coaches and players talking about Brunson. I mean, it's the entire league is waxing poetic about this guy. It is what you want, guys. In terms of hopes that other people will come here later. There's something going on here.
But now the final piece is to win. You know, play in the conference final. Show that this is all coming together. So how big of a hit, Peter, does that take if they get bounced in the first round?
Why think negative, Don? Be positive.
Yeah,
because I
Don?
Because I think
don't be old,
ultimately you got to show it. There's got to be a run. So all this regular season stuff is nice, and the fans, you know, certainly appreciate it. But to get the national love, you know, they already proved they can go to the second round last year. But now I think, you know, getting to that conference final, being in the Final Four, is really going to be the final piece to show the world that this is a destination.
Now, that wasn't it for Julius. He also was on the podcast, talked about how the Knicks became an option because they weren't one at first.
I remember I always wanted to play for I only wanted to play for the Lakers when I got there. I was like, I wanted that Kobe, 20 years, play for one organization type thing. And, I remember my agent looking at me, he was like, I was young and naive, and he looking at me, he like, bro, like, I want that for you too, but that really just don't happen much. And I'm like, man, you don't know me. I'm doing it like, this is what I'm doing, whatever. So by the time I got to New Orleans, I think they had got the #1 pick. And I'm like, man, and then AD was like, I'm out of here. I was like, yeah, I'm out of here too. New York that year, they were supposed to get, KD and Kyrie and all this. So I really wasn't even looking at that as an option. Once New York became an option, I was like, man, like, this is where I got to go. Like, that's the only place I wanted to play at.
By the way, speaking of New Orleans, Peter, you see the guy Zion Williamson? That's the guy who was selected out of Duke. He's been great.
Love. You guys know I don't consider Zion a Dookie.
Why is that?
Well, that's on you.
That's a you
It's
issue.
just, he just doesn't give Duke energy. Never has. Neither does Jason Tatum.
How about Grayson Allen?
Oh, jeez. Just a bad guy.
Oh, my
Sometimes
goodness.
the answer is just bad guy. Kyle Filipowski, bad. Here, you guys name a player, and I'll tell you whether or not, just basketball player or bad guy.
Kyrie.
Basketball player.
Grant Hill.
Basketball player.
Christian Laettner.
Bad guy.
Wow. JJ Redick.
But not. That's tough.
Yeah, I know.
He's a teammate.
Because now you're going to hurt your not hurt your job.
Yeah, you know what? They already don't care. Bad guy.
He's on the lead NBA team. You probably just got yourself fired.
No.
By the way, just because he's works in the booth with the great Mike Breen and Doris Burke, that doesn't mean he's not a bad guy. By the way, in the case of JJ, honestly, I'm not being serious when I say bad guy. He annoyed me to no end as a player, but he was not like dirty and bad guy.
Don, his hamstrings must be strong, right?
Oh.
No, well, I'm trying to have fun. You know what I mean?
How about Jay Billis?
Jay, I don't remember his playing days, Don.
Now, if he did offend JJ, Michael,
Yep.
and you felt that maybe you would be able to broker peace through Breen, would you use your relationship with Breen to make that happen for Peter, or would you just let it ride?
I let it ride. Yeah.
That sounds right for you.
Yeah. Woo.
I know you well.
I am me.
I know you're you are you, and you would let me fry.
Right.
We know that.
Well, if you deserve to fry.
Well, we learned that earlier. If you're late to the program, Michael did, in fact, reveal that he would turn Jody into the police if he wanted to. Yeah. So I don't want anyone to be surprised. I guess they probably wouldn't be surprised because it feels very you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It was one of the most Michael takes of all time.
And not just because it's, in his eyes, the right thing to do. He thinks it's what's best for the family and best for her.
And I wouldn't give up $4.5 million. Not that I have that.
You need that cash.
You have it available.
How do you know?
Well, just I can do the math, Michael.
No,
I mean,
you
I don't
can't.
think...
You don't know how to. First of all, you've proven over the years you're not good at math.
No, but I don't have to be good at math to know that you have that kind of money in collateral.
You have no idea.
If there was a $4 million bond, Peter, let me ask you.
Go ahead. In the meantime, can you guys find the drop of when Michael's asked about the record through 7 doubleheaders?
20 years ago today, Yankee related.
So 20 years ago today. So that is 2014. What I'm saying, if I can even remember now, is that if he were arrested and his bail was $4 million, Michael is not spending the time in jail. He's getting bailed out. He has, whether it's his house, liens on different things. You have access to that money. I'm not saying you can just pull it right out of the bank directly, But I think you could gather that money up to bail your wife out if you had to. Peter?
To bail his wife, could he come up with $4 million?
Yeah.
I think he has it. Honestly, knowing Michael, Don, since you asked me, I'm going to answer, right? That's what I do. I tell the truth.
Truth teller.
Yeah, I think he's just sitting on that in a bank account. Cash.
Really?
Cash
See, I wasn't going to go that far.
Yeah. No, I did.
Well, there you go. Peter believes that you have a lot of money, Michael.
Sitting on a nice little fat. I think it would hurt. I don't think him writing the check or wiring it to make it really full circle, Ohtani. I don't think wiring over the $4 million wouldn't sting bad. I think it would sting, but I think he'd get through it.
That's a serious allegation, Michael.
And why is it an allegation to say that I think my friend is successful and saved his money?
But direct access to $4 million puts him in a really, really high tax bracket.
I'm not even engaging.
Well, they don't give these jobs to chimps.
I know, but they usually don't pay the chimps that much.
Did it surprise you, Peter, that Kanye West dines at Cheesecake Factory?
Wait, when was that?
The other day, he and Bianca walked in, Bianca with a sheer top, and they dined out at Cheesecake.
It is nice.
I love Cheesecake Factory, but I just don't picture Kanye there.
But my only problem with the Cheesesteak Factory is every time I've gone, it's been like a 2-hour wait. I don't think he's waiting.
I don't think he has to wait.
Two things. One, I don't think he waits. Two, it's definitely not called the Cheesesteak Factory.
Oh, cheesecake.
Cake.
Yeah, you said steak.
Oh, did he? Oh,
I said steak?
Nope, Don did.
I did?
Yeah. The same guy who, when Michael asked him about 7 doubleheaders, said this.
The Yankees have played 7 doubleheaders this year, Don and Peter. That's 14 games. What do you think their record is?
6-1.
And that was a legitimate guess. But
you know what? I knew exactly what he was saying. We keep playing that. It's not right.
Yeah, I thank you. But it's not a problem with math. I was thinking about like sweeping and splitting or losing.
It makes sense.
Right.
It's
not
just
bad
for some
math.
reason the way
the not knowing, thinking 20 years ago is 2014. That's bad math. So it's just,
that's tough.
I don't have a problem being criticized. I just want to be criticized for the right thing.
And also, Peter, if you Google Michael K's net worth, it says $3 million. So that means I couldn't come up with 4.
That's true. And so according to Google,
because those things are always right. And if I said Cheesesteak Factory, it's only because that way Peter's selling me on my trip to Philadelphia in a couple of weeks is that we're going to eat cheesesteaks like gentlemen. And I've been thinking about it ever since he said it. So it's been in my mind. But my only problem with the Cheesesteak Factory is every time I've gone. But anyway, you're right. Now I'm not going to Philly. How about that?
No! What? Just because of the drop?
Yeah. There you go.
I don't blame you, Don. Make it stand.
Now, you got to give me credit, Michael, where credit is due. That's a drop that could have been lost, but with the no in it, it's got something. Let me hear it again.
But my only problem with the Cheesesteak Factory is every time I've gone, I don't like it. I don't think it's got legs.
You don't care for it.
I don't think it has legs. Anthony, you put this together. That's not making it. That's not making any dance.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be on a short list. Does it make it all the way? I don't know. I mean, this is an upstart. This is an upstart 25 in November. We don't know what's going to happen.
That's such a great point by you. This is so early, but we'll see. Now, Don, hopefully we'll have like 5 or 6 of the 15 people that were sent over to our to the studio the other day from the marketing department that stood in the studio with us during our pre-show meeting.
You missed that, Don.
Oh, Don wasn't there for
the garden.
Oh, I forgot.
You missed a lot.
Something. Don, you want me to describe the scene?
Well, all right, go ahead.
I'll help you out. We were told, this is how things work in our life. We were told, guys, just so you know, Tuesday, marketing's coming. They want to talk to you.
Isn't that
what you heard?
You got to be in studio.
Michael, you got to be. We need you guys around. Marketing's coming in. No problem. Oh, I look forward to it. I love talking to marketing because guess what, guys? I like promoting this show. I want us to win.
And you like promoting yourself.
That's right. And so we all said, okay, great. Well, Don's going to be at the Garden, but Michael and I will be there. So, you know, the staff who you would expect to see from a situation like this, Troy, Kevin, and Jake Montgomery, they all came over. And they brought, I'd say, between 5 and 6.
I think
Michael?
6.
6 very young employees. Like, if we still had interns.
Which we legally don't.
Which we don't anymore, Don. That's like the age you would have thought, right, Michael? Yep. They looked like, 22.
These people could hang out with Callie.
I don't know if I'd go that far. If that happened, Michael, I'd be concerned,
Yes.
and your parenting would be called into question. But yes, very young. And Don, everyone gathered in the studio with us while we were talking over the show, and you were on FaceTime with us. And the three people from our marketing, the leaders of that group, hung out. And then the 6 people they brought stood there. And everyone just stood there. And we had a conversation. And then we said, okay, I awkwardly then at some point go, hey, so like, what are we doing? What's going on here? And then they had us shoot some regular social media videos. That was done by one person, Jake, who always does it. And that was it, Don. I to this day, I don't understand what the hell happened.
I think the youngsters were in awe of being in Peter's presence.
Is that what it was?
I believe that.
Now, by the way, I have nothing. I am not remotely besmirching the young people who came.
It sounds like a besmirchment.
No, there's no besmirch because they were just doing what they were told to do, which is what I'm besmirching, if anything, is what the point of the whole operation was.
I'm just worried about my future here because I was told that I needed to be at that meeting. But I said I'm at the Garden because I'm doing the Ranger game.
And they said, we're good.
No, well, eventually, because they said, well, then John, the pinhead suit, says, well, maybe you can leave early and take the subway to the game. He goes, I'll check with marketing to see if you're needed. Like 30 seconds later, it's like, Don, you're good. Don't bother.
Enjoy yourself.
Well, but Don, you're looking at it the wrong way. Maybe it's because they knew in that moment this was literally not even a meeting. It was just going to be a standing in a room.
But it was, it was portrayed to us though that if you don't come into the studio, there's a good chance you'll lose your job. So I don't think that it was looked at that way.
This was the long way of saying I don't understand what the hell was going on. But furthermore, I hope some of these lovely young people who I did not besmirch join us in Philadelphia, Don. And then I may ask one of them while we're setting up to take a trip over to Jim's or Ishkabibbles and pick us up a delicious cheesesteak like gentlemen. They fly, I buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's Gino's you're thinking of.
No, I don't do Gino's.
Why not?
Not a Gino guy. Not a Gino's guy. If I'm downtown and I have to choose between Gino and Pat's, if I'm on South Street, I'm doing Pat's. But I prefer Jim's or Ishkabibbles. I think Ishkabibbles is wildly underrated. And Don, they do a chicken cheesesteak.
Oh, really?
Wait, is there really a place called Ishkabibbles?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ishkabibbles is the one. To me, it's an underrated. It's Don. I would say maybe we do it and they're very big sandwiches. Maybe we do one steak and one chicken and swap.
Okay.
You know what
Maybe
I mean?
share it with some of the wrestlers.
Well, they may be very focused at that point on WrestleMania being a couple days away.
Yeah.
Guys, it's just in. I have the results of Drop Madness. We have a winner in the Flub region, and it's all chalk right here. The 1 seed advances.
Johnny Damon was a mangy mess with the Red Sox.
Mangy?
A mangy, whatever it is.
73-27.
Wow.
The 1 seed coasts. We stay in the Flub region. Closer matchup. And the 8 seed advances 57-43.
Let's hear from Griffin's favorite, Jimmy.
Who's Jiffin? Peanut butter guy?
All right. We say good. That means it's the end for Cronkite or Conkrite. We go to the funny region where, Don, not surprisingly, a huge triumph, 85-15 for the 1 seed.
You soiled yourself. Chocolate soft serve in your pants.
But that
Can I make a prediction, Peter?
Yeah.
That's the winner of the tournament.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing. It has to be. It got so many things working in its favor. And that means we say goodbye to the 16 seed, sadly.
Nobody coaches me up.
Which was a wonderful moment.
But we go to the funny region, and we have a very mild upset. Is it really an upset, though, if Don's involved? The 9 seed advances 62-38.
Lunatic.
Was there any chance that was going to lose against this 8 seed?
Peter.
Come on. It's Don screaming for a minute straight.
Yeah, one's Don screaming, one's Don being like
quietly saying, whispering my name like a sweet nothing. We go to the troubling region where the 1 seed advances 60-40.
Football Mondays on 97.
Box
Football Mondays on 98.7 ESPN.
Bullshit.
Football Mondays on 98.7 ESPN are brought to you by Sloman's.
You know, I could see that ending up in a battle against chocolate soft serve in your pants at some point. We go to the 8-9 matchup in the troubling region, and the 9 seed advances.
Getting outscored 98-7. That's ridiculous. I'm confident.
Is he all right, Peter? Is he
That
okay?
That might have been it.
We move over to the Nether region. Congratulations. You can hear the celebration in Connecticut where Griffin advances.
You know what?
83-17 over the 16. Congratulations to the Grifster. And in the Nether region, the 9 seed, another 9 seed advances. This one, Bob.
Let's go to Bob in Warwick. Bob.
Oh, this will be good. Hey, Bob.
I don't like that one.
You don't like
Because
it?
I think it's a work.
I just don't like it that we had to remove the end of
better
it.
read
That
your,
really is
your
what.
sponsor.
Yeah, I know. I know to finish the show. That'll do it for Drop Madness and ENN. Brought to you by Security Dodge. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com during their Dodge Power Shot Days Jeep Celebration event and Ram Truck Month.
All right, so how's this working, Don? The Knicks are on 98.7, 8:30
That's right.
pregame, and the Rangers are on 10:50.
And that means that Dan Grass is coming up next on 98.7.
I love it. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See you, everybody.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up at 7:30, don't forget, our coverage